The internet was built on a promise of permanence, a digital library of Alexandria where nothing is ever truly lost, merely archived. Every click, every upload, every keystroke supposedly leaves an indelible mark in the endless expanse of cyberspace, but this is a comforting lie we tell ourselves. The truth is far more unsettling. The web has its own graveyards, its own forgotten tombs filled with data that has been erased, corrupted, or deliberately buried. Some of these digital ghosts are harmless relics of a bygone era, dead links and abandoned forums. But others are different. They are whispers of videos so disturbing, so unnerving, that their removal from the public eye only served to amplify their legend. These aren't just deleted files. They are modern folktales, campfire stories told in the cold, blue light of a computer screen. They are the videos that stared back from the abyss, and for reasons we may never understand, the abyss blinked first. What happens when a piece of media becomes so infamous that the platforms themselves conspire to make it disappear? It doesn't die, it metastasizes. It becomes a legend, a myth, a piece of cursed code passed around in hushed tones. We are going to journey into the darkest archives of the internet to search for the specters of videos that were deemed too dangerous to exist. We're looking for the internet's creepiest videos that disappeared, but be warned, some rabbit holes are not meant to be explored. Have you ever stumbled across something online you knew you shouldn't have seen, only for it to vanish when you went back to find it? You are not alone. To understand how a video can become a haunting, we have to travel back to the internet's formative years. The early 2000s, particularly the dawn of YouTube in 2005, represented a digital Wild West. It was a chaotic, untamed frontier where the rules of content were still being written. Moderation was a far cry from the sophisticated AI-driven systems of today. It was often manual, reactive, and inconsistent. This primordial soup of unregulated content was the perfect breeding ground for anomalies. In this era, a video could exist for days, weeks, or even months before being flagged and removed. That was more than enough time for it to be seen, downloaded, and mirrored across countless obscure forums and file-sharing networks. The act of deletion wasn't an erasure. It was a catalyst. It was the spark that ignited the legend. A video that was merely strange or unsettling while it was live became something far more sinister once it was forbidden. This is a well-documented psychological phenomenon known as the Streisand effect, where the attempt to hide or remove information has the unintended consequence of publicizing it more widely. But this goes deeper than a simple psychological quirk. The disappearance of a video creates a narrative vacuum. Our minds are hardwired to seek patterns and create stories, especially to explain things that frighten or confuse us. When the original source material is gone, all we are left with are fragmented eyewitness accounts, exaggerated retellings, and blurry, low-resolution copies of copies. The video itself ceases to matter. What matters is the story we build around its absence. The gaps in the record become a canvas onto which we project our deepest fears. Was it just a clever hoax? Or did we witness something real, something that was never meant for our eyes? Think of it like an ancient myth. We don't have a recording of Odysseus' journey. We have Homer's account, a story passed down and embellished over generations. The lost videos of the internet are our new myths. The original uploaders are the forgotten gods of this new pantheon, anonymous creators who unleashed something into the world and then vanished. The platforms that delete them become the censors, the gatekeepers trying to protect us from a truth they believe we cannot handle. This digital folklore machine is incredibly efficient. A story can circle the globe in a matter of hours. The legend of a cursed video doesn't need decades to ferment. It can achieve mythical status in a single week. It preys on our innate fear of the unknown and our morbid curiosity. The very fact that something is lost gives it an allure, a sense of forbidden knowledge. It dares us to look, even when every instinct tells us to turn away. The question is no longer, what did the video show, but why was it so important to erase it? That question is often far more terrifying than any footage could ever be. This entire phenomenon is built on a paradox. The fear of the unseen. It's the same primal terror that makes us afraid of the dark. It's not the darkness itself that scares us, but our imagination populating that darkness with every monster it can conjure. When a video disappears, the screen goes dark, and our minds get to work, creating a horror far more personal and potent than the original ever could have been. We are not just the audience of these stories, we are the co-authors of their terror. And the first case file in our investigation is perhaps the most perfect example of a monster born from a digital void. A simple video of a man staring, which became a legend whispered to drive its viewers to madness. The story, as it's told, is chillingly precise. Sometime in 2008, a video was uploaded to YouTube under the cryptic title Mariana Mordegard Glesgorv. The footage was simple. A static shot of a man with unsettling, intense eyes, staring directly at the camera against a grainy, indistinct background. The video was exactly 2 minutes long. For the first minute and 58 seconds, nothing happened. Just the unnerving, silent stare. But in the final 2 seconds, the legend claims, the man would suddenly grin, a wide, unnatural smile. That's the video. Or that's what remains of it. The original, according to the creepypasta that spawned its legend, was far more potent. The story goes that viewers who watched the full 2-minute version experienced extreme psychological distress. They reported feelings of intense anxiety, dread, and paranoia. The legend escalated, claiming that at least 153 viewers had gouged out their own eyes and mailed them to YouTube's main office in San Bruno. Others, it was said, suffered from amnesia or committed suicide. The tale became a viral sensation, a piece of digital folklore passed around on forums like 4chan and Reddit. The mythology became even more elaborate. It was claimed that a YouTube employee, tasked with watching the video to determine if it violated terms of service, began screaming after just 45 seconds. He reportedly became uncontrollably agitated and had to be sedated, and has had no memory of the event since. The original video was swiftly deleted, but by then, it was too late. The story was out, and so were fragments of the footage. A shorter, 20-second version began to circulate. This clip, which you can still find today, shows the man staring silently. It cuts off before the infamous grin. But even this sanitized version is deeply unsettling. Who is this man? What is the context? The lack of answers is what fuels the fear. The most common version of the legend states that after the original was removed, a YouTube staff member, a security guard, was able to get the uploader's IP address. He traced it, but the location was impossible. The data didn't resolve to any known location on Earth. The name, Mariana Mordegard Glesgorv, is meaningless in every known language. It is a string of sounds designed to sound vaguely ominous and foreign, adding to the mystique. The man in the video has never been identified. He is a ghost in the machine, his face forever frozen in that low-resolution stare. So what's really going on here? The video that exists today is, of course, a fabrication designed to capitalize on the legend. The man is believed to be a manipulated image of a real person, an advertising executive named Byron Cortez. But the photograph was altered. The eyes widened, the focus sharpened, the quality degraded to create an uncanny, unsettling effect. The story of viewers mailing their eyes to YouTube is pure fiction, an example of how internet folklore can escalate mundane weirdness into grand, gothic horror. There is no evidence any of this ever happened, and yet the feeling it produces is real. The story of Mariana Mordegard Glesgorv is a perfect case study in the power of suggestion. When you watch the 20-second clip after hearing the legend, your mind is primed for fear. You are actively looking for something wrong. The silence feels heavy, the man's stare feels predatory, and you might even find yourself holding your breath, waiting for the 2-minute mark that never comes. The horror isn't on the screen. It's in your head, created by the story you've been told. Have you ever felt a real, physical sense of dread from something you knew was fake? The original video likely never existed. It was born a ghost, a story about a video that was written before the video itself was then created. The 20-second clip is a prop, a piece of manufactured evidence for a crime that never occurred, but its disappearance is key to its power. Because the full version is gone, we can imagine anything. Our minds fill in the blanks with horrors far worse than a simple grin. The legend tells us the video is a weapon, a piece of cognito-hazardous media that can break the human mind. And by removing it, the storytellers gave it the one thing it needed to be truly terrifying, the allure of the forbidden. Unlike Mariana Mordegard Glesgorv, our next case is all too real. The video exists. You can watch it right now, but I would advise against it. It's known as Blank Room Soup, or sometimes Freaky Soup Guy. And while the footage is available, its context, its meaning, and its creators have completely vanished, leaving behind one of the most disturbing and enduring mysteries of the dark web. The video isn't lost, but its story is, and that absence is what makes it a waking nightmare. The clip is short, shot in what appears to be a brightly lit, featureless white room. A man with his eyes censored by a black bar sits at a small table, visibly distressed. He is using an oversized spoon to frantically eat a bowl of soup. He sobs and trembles as he eats. Suddenly, a figure in a black, full-body suit, with a large, cartoonishly featureless white head and placid smile enters the frame from behind and places a hand on the man's back, gently patting him. A second, identical figure then enters from the other side. The man's distress escalates into full-blown anguish, but he continues to eat the soup. The video ends. No explanation. No sound other than the man's desperate sobs. The video first appeared in 2005, uploaded to YouTube by a user named Renato Films. It was quickly taken down, but not before being re-uploaded and spread across the web. The immediate questions are haunting. Who is this man? Why is he crying? What is in the soup? And who or what are the figures comforting him in such a terrifyingly gentle way? The figures are the key to the horror. They are not overtly aggressive. Their touch is almost reassuring. But their blank, emotionless faces paired with the man's raw terror create a profound sense of cognitive dissonance. It feels like a scene from a hostage video directed by David Lynch. Over the years, investigators and internet sleuths have pieced together a few fragments of the story. The costumes worn by the figures are known as Ray characters, created by the artist Raymond S. Percy. This led many to believe the video was simply a bizarre performance art piece. Percy himself has been asked about the video multiple times and has consistently stated that while he created the characters, he had nothing to do with this specific video and has no idea who made it. He explained that he sold the costumes and rights, and whoever bought them made Blank Room Soup. This explanation, however, has never fully satisfied the community dedicated to solving the mystery. Why would a performance art piece feature such genuine-looking emotional distress? This led to darker theories. One popular theory suggests the man was being forced to eat the remains of a loved one, perhaps his wife or child. The soup in this scenario is a tool of psychological torture, and the Ray figures are his tormentors. The black bar over his eyes isn't just to hide his identity, it's to dehumanize him, turning him into a symbol of suffering. Another theory posits that the man is an actor who was the victim of a prank or a poorly executed skit that went too far. Perhaps he was a method actor pushed to his limits, or perhaps he was genuinely unaware of what was happening. But the raw emotion on display seems to defy simple acting. His pain feels authentic, visceral. You can almost feel his desperation through the screen. What could possibly drive a person to that state? Is it grief, fear, or something else entirely? The truth is, we will likely never know. The original creator, Renato Films, vanished. The man in the video has never been identified. The people in the suits remain anonymous. All that remains is the footage itself, a perfect loop of misery, stripped of all context. It's a powerful example of how a lack of information can be more terrifying than any explicit horror. If it were a scene from a movie, we could compartmentalize it, but because it exists in this gray area between fiction and a possible real-life atrocity, it stays with us. It's the uncertainty that haunts us. The video has not disappeared, but its meaning has, and in its place, we are left to imagine the worst. Our first two cases dealt with psychological horror and the terror of the unknown, but this next category ventures into something even more primal, the fear of contamination. The idea that a digital file, a video, a game, can be cursed, that it can reach out of your monitor and affect your life, your mind, or even your physical space. This is the legend of haunted media, and two of its most infamous examples are the YouTube channel, username 666, and the deep web game, Sad Satan. The legend of username 666 emerged in the early days of YouTube. As the story goes, if you typed youtube.com user/666 into your browser, something strange would happen. For a brief period, the page would refresh itself over and over, the visuals becoming progressively more distorted and hellish. Hands would seem to press against the screen from the inside, horrifying sounds would play, and videos with titles like "The classical music that will make you soil your pants" would appear. Finally, your browser would crash, and some versions of the tale claim a virus would infect your computer. Of course, the actual channel was eventually suspended by YouTube, vanishing into the digital ether. Was it real? Not in the way the legend describes. The channel was a clever bit of channel page hacking and creative video making by a user known as Nana825763, who was famous for their unsettling and surreal horror shorts. They used now-defunct YouTube channel customization features to create the illusion of a haunted, glitched-out page. But for those who stumbled upon it without context, the experience was genuinely terrifying. It felt like the machine was breaking, like you had accidentally peered into a forbidden corner of the network. When YouTube suspended the account, they inadvertently cemented its legend. It was no longer a clever trick. It was a cursed place that the authorities had to quarantine. This concept of a haunted digital space was taken to its extreme with Sad Satan. In 2015, a YouTuber who ran the channel Obscure Horror Corner claimed to have found a link to a game on the deep web. He downloaded it and began to play, recording his gameplay for his channel. The game was a nightmarish walking simulator through a series of dark, minimalist corridors. The audio was a disturbing mix of distorted music, speeches from Charles Manson, and what sounded like tortured screams. Cryptic images, some of them depicting horrific child abuse, would flash on screen. The YouTuber, Jamie, claimed the game began to affect his computer. Notepad files would spontaneously open on his desktop with threatening, cryptic messages. He became convinced the game was more than just a game. It was malware. Or worse, something genuinely malevolent. Fearing for his safety, he deleted the original files and his channel and vanished from the internet. All that remains are his gameplay videos and clean versions of the game file shared by others, supposedly with the most disturbing content and the malware removed. But no one knows for sure if these are the same as the original. The true version of Sad Satan is lost. What makes these cases so chilling is how they blur the line between the digital and the real. We think of our computers as safe, sterile windows into another world, but username 666 and Sad Satan suggest that the window opens both ways. They play on the fear that the horrors we view online aren't contained by the screen. The idea that a simple click could invite something malicious into our homes is a uniquely modern terror. We are so reliant on technology we barely understand, making us vulnerable to the idea that it could be turned against us in supernatural ways. The disappearance of the source material is, once again, the most crucial element, because the origin, Null 666 channel is gone, its legend can grow unchecked. Because the true file for Sad Satan is lost, we can only speculate on what horrors it might have contained. Was it just an edgy art project by a skilled programmer? Was it a vehicle for distributing illegal content and viruses, or was it something else? The mystery is the engine of the horror. These aren't just stories about creepy videos or games. They are cautionary tales about the darkness that lurks just beneath the surface of the web, waiting for a curious click to let it in. Do you ever worry about what you might accidentally download? After examining these digital phantoms, a crucial question emerges. Why do these stories persist? In an age of information, where almost anything can be debunked, why do we remain so captivated by grainy, contextless videos and the terrifying legends they spawn? The answer lies not in the videos themselves, but deep within our own psychology. We are, in a very real sense, haunted by our own minds, and these stories provide the perfect outlet for our primal fears. At its core, this is about our relationship with the unknown. For millennia, humanity used folklore and myth to explain the unexplainable, the changing of the seasons, the mysteries of death, the rustle in the bushes just beyond the firelight. The internet is our new, uncharted wilderness. It is a realm of infinite information, but also of infinite voids. These lost videos are the monsters that inhabit the uncharted territories of our digital maps. They are modern-day sea serpents and chimeras, born from the fear of what lies beyond our understanding. The power of suggestion, or the nocebo effect, the evil twin of the placebo effect, plays a massive role. When you are told that watching a video will cause anxiety or that a game file is cursed, your brain is primed to find evidence to support that claim. The slightest feeling of unease is magnified. A normal computer glitch is reinterpreted as a sign of a haunting. The legend creates the experience. The terror of Mariana Mordegard Glesgorv isn't the man's stare. It's the story of gouged-out eyes that you carry into the viewing. The horror of Blank Room Soup isn't just the man's tears. It's the chilling, unproven theory that he's eating a loved one. Furthermore, the very act of disappearance is what gives these videos their power. In psychology, this relates to the concept of closure. The human mind craves resolution. We need our stories to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. A lost video denies us this. It is a perpetual cliffhanger. Who made it? Why? What happened next? The lack of answers creates a psychological tension, an itch that we can't scratch. To resolve this tension, our imagination takes over, and it almost always defaults to the most terrifying conclusion possible. The void is filled not with logic, but with fear. Think about it. If the creator of Blank Room Soup came forward tomorrow and said it was a student film project and the man was just a very convincing actor, the video would lose all of its power. It would become a curiosity, a piece of trivia. The mystery is the entire point. The disappearance of the context, the creator, and the original file is not a byproduct of the legend. It is the source of it. We are not afraid of what we see. We are afraid of what we don't see, and what that absence could imply. Ultimately, these digital ghosts serve a purpose. They are the evolution of the campfire story. They remind us that the world, even the meticulously curated and archived digital world, is still full of mystery. They are a safe way to confront our deepest fears, of madness, of torture, of supernatural evil, from the comfort of our homes. The video may be gone, but the thrill of the story remains. In a way, we don't want these mysteries to be solved. We need our digital ghosts. We need to believe that somewhere out there, in the forgotten archives of a server farm, lies a piece of footage so powerful, so dangerous, that it had to be locked away. Because if such things can exist, then the world is still a place of dark and terrible wonder. The internet is not a library. It's an ocean. We play in the sunlit shallows, convinced we understand the currents. But beneath the surface, in the crushing dark of the abyss, things are moving. Things are uploaded and deleted in the blink of an eye, leaving behind nothing but a ripple, a whisper in the code. We've looked at a few of these echoes today, but they are just the famous few, the ones whose legends were strong enough to reach the surface. How many others are down there, lost in the digital deep? What horrors were captured, shared for a fleeting moment, and then successfully erased before they could become a myth? Perhaps the creepiest videos are not the ones that disappeared, but the ones that were so effectively scrubbed from existence that we don't even know we should be looking for them. They are the true digital ghosts, silent and unseen, a testament to the fact that some things are, and should be, forgotten. The next time you encounter a dead link or a video removed notice, pause for a moment. You might be standing on the edge of a digital grave, the last marker of a story you will never know. What lost internet mysteries still haunt you? Let us know in the comments below. And if you find yourself digging for these lost files late at night, remember the old adage, be careful when you stare into the abyss. You never know what might be staring back.